Good evening, you crazy ponies, and welcome to yet another Mr. Kenyon's Pony Story Reading Fun Time. Now, I really don't follow the fanfic community very much, mostly for my own sanity. I let people recommend stories for me, and I decide from the pile. Today's story, however, is an exception to that rule. One day I was stumbling over an Equestria Daily and found this story. For the title alone, I immediately knew that I had to read this thing. Now, the work's not complete, so we're likely going to revisit this in the future after more of it comes out. But I wanted to get at it right now. Hopefully work like what I'm doing here today will help influence the author to keep pushing out the rest. So, let's go ahead and get this rolling. Sit back and enjoy TheSlorg's The Day My Beard Turned into Pinkie Pie. Harvey Grimwald was drunk. He stumbled through the door of the Barking Spider Tavern and promptly missed the first step leading to the sidewalk entirely. His balance shifted forward and he briefly thought, "Where'd the ground go?" before collapsing to the pavement. The biker lay prone for a few moments to clear his head. All that forward momentum had sent the world spinning in lazy circles around his eyes. Or were his eyes spinning in circles? He didn't care one way or the other. "Better not let the boys see me like this," he thought to himself. Ordinarily, Harvey would have gone drinking with his fellow members of the Hells Angels. Today, however, had been a rough one. He didn't like to bring the boys into his personal troubles. Hanging out with them was for fun times only. He put an unsteady hand onto the pavement and prepared to haul himself back to his feet. His plans were ruined when he felt a sudden pressure between his shoulder blades that pushed him back down. "Hey, look at what we have here!" a dreadfully familiar voice asked mockingly as its owner ground his foot harder into Harvey's back. "Could it be the legendary Harvey Grimwald?" Coarse laughter rose from the other members of the Vagos gang that had surrounded him. The day was about to get much worse. "Leave me be, Tony. You don't want any trouble you can't handle," Harvey said from his position under Tony's boot. "Shove it, Grimwald. We know you're alone," the gang member known as Tony responded harshly. "You deserve this for putting Donnie in the hospital. You and your goons think you can just beat our brother to a pulp and not expect payback? Oh, but don't worry, we won't be taking your life tonight. We like you too much to do that. I think we'll just take your ride this time." He kicked Harvey in the back of the head, bent quickly, and searched until he found the right set of keys, then stood up and moved towards a custom 1951 Harley-Davidson Panhead that was parked nearby. "No, man, not Genie! Hey, get away from my Genie!" Harvey called out. He tried to stand up, but his head spun rapidly and he fell back to the ground. The flashing neon lights of the bar seemed to meld together as he heard his motorcycle start to rev its engine. "Oh man, anything but Genie," Harvey thought as the other members of the Vagos gang ran over to their rides, laughing at his misfortune along the way. The sound of nearly a dozen bikes revving filled the night. A few of the Vagos turned around and flashed colorful sign language at him before taking off. The rumble of the motorcycle soon faded away. Putting his hand down for support once more, Harvey finally managed to make it to his feet again. He felt the back of his head and found a lump where Tony had kicked him. He'd have to make the Vagos pay for that, but he had a bigger problem to deal with. "Genie," he mumbled to himself. He was going to have to bust some heads. It was as simple as that. He was a Hells Angel, not some chump who rode a Kawasaki. His Genie had been irrevocably violated the moment a Vagos crotch had come into contact with her sweet body. He briefly thought of contacting the police and chuckled at the thought. He'd probably be arrested on the spot. Regardless, he still needed to get his motorcycle back. He decided he'd retrieve it when he went to pay the Vagos back for kicking his head. That had been entirely unnecessary and retribution was in order. First thing was first, though. He needed to get home and have some rest. The piercing sound of the alarm clock stirred Harvey from his deep sleep. He fumbled blindly for the button to turn it off and managed to knock the entire clock to the floor. The offending noise continued. Grumbling, the hungover biker leaned over the side of the bed and groped around for the clock. He refused to open his eyes just yet and felt his boots, a few empty beer cans, and a magazine that would either be about motorcycles or girls, he couldn't tell which, before finally reaching the clock and shutting it off. "Why did I even set the alarm? I don't have work today," he thought irritably. Then he remembered that he couldn't even get to work or anywhere else. His dear Genie had been taken from him. No matter, he'd get it back. He just gathered a few of the boys and... No, he couldn't let them know about this. He'd been drinking alone, and you just don't do that when you can invite your buddies along. He had a reputation to keep, so he would take care of this little problem by himself. He just wasn't quite sure how to go about that yet. Maybe he'd figure it out after a shower. Harvey climbed out of bed and stretched. He then walked towards the full-length mirror in the corner of the bedroom, kicking beer cans out from his path along the way. He reached the mirror and had a look. His dull brown eyes were bloodshot. A bald head helped to steer attention away from his crooked nose. Complementing it was a full, thick brown beard that hung past his throat. His shoulders were broad and well-muscled, though age was slowly beginning to soften areas that had once been solid. He looked down to his beer gut. "Oh yeah, the ladies love you, don't they?" he asked his belly. He grabbed it and shook it up and down as if it were vigorously nodding in response. He chuckled to himself and made his way into the bathroom. Harvey turned on the light and blinked at the sudden brightness. He moved to the toilet, lifted the seat, and began to relieve himself. Gonna break me some vagos tonight, he sung off-key to himself. Yeah, boy. Gonna kick some heads. He flushed the toilet and moved to the sink to brush his teeth. Looking down, he grabbed a tube of toothpaste and unscrewed the lid. Gonna find me some women tonight, he continued. Yeah, boy. Gonna get Jeannie back, too. He grabbed his toothbrush in his right hand and carefully squeezed a generous amount of green mint-flavored toothpaste onto it. Gonna get drunk tonight. Yeah, boy, gonna have a good time. Harvey looked up into the mirror and raised the toothbrush to his mouth, but stopped suddenly. His mind was reeling. Now, why'd my beard go and turn pink? He thought to himself. He watched in horror as the hairs began to shift, revealing a small pink creature that had been hidden within. Hi, I'm Pinkie. We're going to be the best of friends, the beard creature said to him in a high-pitched female voice. Harvey Grimwald dropped his toothbrush, turned around, and ran from the bathroom at full speed. The devil's done come to collect on my sins, he thought wildly. Oh, good Lord above, I don't want to die yet, he screamed. His beard thing giggled at him. Oh, don't be a silly filly, you look healthy enough. Demon! Harvey yelled as he raced through the house. Demon on my face! His beard thing screamed, Ah, demon, get it away from me, get it away! He could feel what seemed to be little arms or legs pounding on his chin. Harvey was in hysterics and had no idea what to do. He ran around the house, knocking over lamps and overturning tables until his foot finally landed on an empty beer can and he slipped. His head hit the floor with a thud and everything went black. Hello? Hello? Hey, how long are you going to lay there? Harvey Grimwald slowly opened his eyes. His head didn't feel right, and he thought he'd just heard someone call out to him. Why was he on the floor? Oh, right, he had gone drinking last night. He pushed himself up into a sitting position and looked at his hands. Was that toothpaste on his fingers? Just how much had he had to drink last night anyway? Couldn't remember a thing. The biker took a look around the room. His sofa and coffee table had both been overturned. A lamp had fallen and lay in pieces on the floor, and beer cans littered the room. The latter was normal, but the sofa, table, and lamp should not have been in the condition they were currently in. Suddenly, Harvey's beard grabbed onto his mouth and climbed up his face to hang from his nose. A small head that could have been that of a mouse peered over his nose and stared at him with crystal blue eyes. Well, it's about time. How are you doing? My name's Pinkie Pie, the creature exclaimed. Every vivid detail of what had happened last night suddenly rushed back with crystal clarity. Balling at the bar, the Vagos gang, losing his precious genie. Then, there was his pink-talking beard thing that had been sent to him from the devil itself to collect his troubled soul. Harvey's left eye twitched slightly as he stared down at his beard, or the thing within his beard, which was swinging back and forth on his nose and humming happily. It seemed to have some paws in addition to the head that kept talking. Nah, those aren't paws. Those are hooves for sure, he thought with wonder. Perhaps he was still drunk, or unconscious. He decided to play along for the hell of it. So, Beard, when did you decide to turn into a pink horse? He asked with amusement. Oh, yeah, today would be one of those days. His beard thing gasped and stared at him with a small frown. I am not a horse. I'm a pony, and my name is Pinkie Pie, not Beard, it said with annoyance. Whatever, the biker said with indifference. Why are you a pony? I was born a pony. Isn't that great? I mean, really, what's not to like about being a pony? I get to sing and dance and throw parties for all my friends. Well, I did do all those things until the point when Trixie appeared back in Ponyville and started casting all these fantastical and amazing spells at every pony. I got zapped with one and then I ended up here stuck to your face. Isn't that just the best thing ever? Well, I guess it would be nice to run and jump and play, but I could think of worse things than being stuck to your face. By the way, what's your name? Harvey stared at the ponified beard, amazed that it had finally shut up long enough to breathe. Wait, could beards breathe? He decided not to pursue that train of thought any further. The answer to that was best left alone. My name is Harvey Grimwald. What's yours? He asked. Duh. I already told you twice, you silly you. It's Pinkie Pie. His beard thing grinned at him. Pinkie Pie? The biker asked. Suddenly he burst into laughter, causing Pinkie the beard to fall from his nose and hang back under his chin. Whee! That was fun, the pony beard giggled. But I didn't hear anyone say a joke. Don't you get it? Harvey chuckled. Got a pink pie right on my face. That's just golden right there. Not pink pie, Pinkie Pie, the pony beard corrected. No, I mean a pink pie. No, forget it, it's over your head. The biker grumbled. And I'm under your head, the beard thing giggled and began to swing back and forth. Woo, woo, woo. Harvey Grimwald sighed. Okay, knock that off. Hey, stop it. Oh, you're no fun. Hey, do you have any cupcakes? I'm starving, Pinkie the Beard said. It eats? Harvey thought mildly. No, I don't have any cupcakes. Let's go bake some, the Beard thing squealed. No, this was good for a chuckle or two, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to stop talking and turn back into my normal beard. I can't go outside with you looking like this, the biker said grimly. Okay, the Beard thing said. Thank you, Lord. I know I've done some bad things, but I'm just not ready to feel your wrath right now, Harvey mused to himself. He stood up, steadying himself against the wall as the back of his head throbbed. It was no wonder he was having visions. His head had taken a beating lately. His feet shuffled slowly as he made his way into the kitchen. A few roaches scattered to the safety of the walls. He passed the overflowing garbage bin that had empty pizza boxes thrown haphazardly on top of it. His hand reached up to the cabinet above the sink and opened it up. He pulled down a box of cereal and threw it onto the kitchen table, scattering a few dirty dishes that had been left there. Finally, he moved over to the fridge, opened it up, and retrieved what he was looking for and closed it. The beer made a hissing sound followed by a pop as he pulled the tab. He set the beer down and grabbed one of the dirty bowls. It was soon filled with cereal and beer. Harvey sat down and lazily moved the spoon up to his mouth. It had almost reached its destination when his beard suddenly jumped up and took a large bite from the spoon. Ah! The biker screamed as he shoved his chair backwards. He pushed too hard, however, and he felt himself tipping backwards before his head received the third heavy blow of the day. Cereal and beer covered the front of his chest, which was still shirtless from earlier in the morning. He could feel his beard tugging against his chin in an effort to reach the marshmallow bits that were stuck to his chest hairs. I thought I told you to change back into my beard, Harvey bellowed. I tried, but it didn't work, Pinkie the Beard whined. Please don't get angry with me. I want to be your friend. No! I don't want to be friends with my beard or a pony that is a beard. Go away! The biker screamed hysterically. I can't, Pinkie cried. I'm so hungry, too. Could you move your head down a little? Harvey noticed that she, if it could be referred to as such, was very close to reaching a yellow moon-shaped marshmallow that was stuck to his left nipple. An evil grin appeared on his face as he slowly lifted his chin up, pulling his beard away from the tasty morsel. Hey! His beard thing exclaimed. That was mean! You mean old bald-headed brute! You're not eating until you do as you're told, Harvey said with vengeance. You are my beard, and you will do as I... Ow! The biker was cut off in mid-sentence as he felt a sharp pain on his nipple. He looked down to find a very angry pink pony looking up at him from his chin. You do not have to be a meanie, Pinkie grumbled. You bit my nipple! Harvey yelled in shock. You're trying to starve me! His beard thing yelled back. The two stared at one another, both too annoyed to speak. It was clear now to Harvey that this was to become a showdown of wills. His beard refused to listen to reason, so he would have to step up his game to show it who is boss. Nobody bites the nipple of a Hell's Angel without receiving payback.